imaginative. Talk with your friends about what they do. Together, create novel approaches. Try to choose activities you think you might genuinely enjoy. But if you can't find enough of those, list ones you're willing to do, and discard the idea once and for all that mate shopping has to be enjoyable. Don't eliminate an idea because someone else had a bad experience with it. Try for yourself before you decide. Next, now that you have a list of a dozen or more activities, select a few of your favorite ideas and put them on your calendar. Choose a manageable, comfortable pace for yourself. You may schedule one activity a week, one a month, or one every 2 or 3 months. The advantage of having scheduled events on your calendar is that you can relax. Planning, an old trick borrowed from time management experts, allows you to let go of the worry that you're not doing enough to meet new people. Instead, when your voices tell you to get out of the house, you can reassure yourself that you will when the calendar calls for it. Of course, a plan is something to work from, not to hold yourself rigidly to. But when you come to an activity on your calendar, try to do it. See whether you're willing to experiment, to stretch your limits a bit. For example, suppose you've never gone browsing in a bookstore, looking for interesting people as well as interesting books. Suppose that even sounds like a preposterous idea to you, manipulative and disgusting. Try it anyway. See what it's really like before you knock it. If you're willing to explore new avenues, you have no idea what you may discover. Part 3. Go for volume. When you're mate shopping, operate out of a sense of abundance, not scarcity. Deliberately increase the flow of people through your life. If you were searching for the perfect wallpaper, you wouldn't bring home one sample, live with it for 6 months, and then take it back and try another sample for 6 months. Yet that's how many people treat their search for a mate. They finally get one date. If they like the person even a little, they begin evaluating this individual against their highest standards, struggling to make the relationship work. They behave as though this is the last person they will ever have a chance to meet. They may even date the person for 6 months, knowing full well that he or she is far from ideal. A secretary looking for work is advised to go to 20 interviews and only then make a choice, or decide to go to 20 more interviews. She knows what she wants in a job, and she keeps looking until she finds it. She is ill-advised to take the first job she comes across, unless it is everything she's looking for. An infinite number of secretarial jobs are out there for her to explore. If you live in an urban area of any size, and if after hearing this chapter you're able to divest yourself of the erroneous notion that there are no good ways to meet people, then you too have an infinite variety of people to choose from. Don't linger with anyone whose company you do not fully enjoy. A friend of mine told me a story about a woman he knows. He insists it's true. Alice is a high school teacher. When she turned 40, she realized that, more than anything else, she wanted to share the rest of her life with someone. She wanted a husband. She determined that she did not have time or energy to work hard at her goal during the school year, so she decided to devote her summers to it. She placed personal ads in publications every week, using several different ads, and she kept busy attending events that interested her. She stayed with this program for 2 summers, realizing that it was a higher priority for her than traveling, which is what she usually did. She told me, "I interviewed 68 men. I married the 68th, and we are very happy together. We are each other's dream come true." Alice understood the principle of going for volume. Most of us are not as aggressive as she was. We may be content to meet 10 new people over the course of a summer, but the principle still applies. On the other hand, I asked one man to tell me why he was against using want ads. He explained, "I tried it once and got 15 letters. I chose to meet 5 of the women and they were all real bores. It was awful. I just don't want to put myself through that again." Suppose this man met these women for an hour for coffee. If he isn't willing to commit 5 more possibly unpleasant hours to his search for an intimate partner, he may never find one. I don't mean to lobby for personal ads as a method, but rather to suggest that a certain number of awkward or boring hours may have to be factored into the business of looking for love, because you have to meet lots of people. Let's apply some logic. If you seek a partner who wants to be monogamous, does not want children, and does not have children, agrees with you politically, has a reasonable level of self-awareness, and hates traveling as much as you do, the subset of people who will interest you is quite small. And for every criterion you add, the subset gets smaller. In general, we seek partners who we feel are emotional and intellectual equals. If you are a person who has risen to the top of your field, or who has developed a high degree of sophistication in some intellectual, emotional, or spiritual area, then you probably desire a mate who has a similar level of achievement or sophistication. Ironically, if you've worked hard in life to place yourself into the top little triangle, and you seek a mate who's there too, your search may be more difficult than other people's. Don't be discouraged, but do realize you'll need to screen many people to find your ideal mate. If the person you seek is 1 in 100, then screen 100. It's simply good logic that in an era when there are many obstacles to overcome in forming a good relationship, the more people you meet, the greater are your chances of finding one person who suits you. In other words, if we assume it is true that you have to kiss a lot of frogs before you meet your prince or princess, then it makes sense to get on with the process of kissing frogs. Part 4. The 2-hour date. The whole system of going for volume depends on the invaluable institution of the 2-hour date. When you are seeing a new person for the first time, never agree to meet for longer than 2 hours. Even 1 hour is okay. You don't have to announce your time limit, just arrange it. Meet the person for breakfast, before work, or for cocktails, and make it clear you have dinner plans. You can even meet for dinner if you have a rehearsal or meeting at 8. The advantages of the 2-hour date are obvious. Never again will you have the dreadful experience of realizing in the first 10 minutes of an evening that a person is not your type and still have to endure the whole evening. Of course, if you are enjoying your 2-hour date, you always have the option of skipping your rehearsal or meeting or setting up another